Okay, now they
What's
call
your take on that?
Atlanta to Yollywood.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, we definitely are. We're a major contender. It's because of our film incentive, and also because we have such huge diversity in terms of terrain. Like if you want to have a desert, there's a place where you can go film like it's a desert. We've got woods, we've got lakes, we've got things that look like the wilderness. We've got urban and rural, and I mean all kinds of stuff. Plus the diversity of just the people alone that you can pull in from the pool. So you have all kinds of cultures here, which is great. So that's a plus. And it's not as expensive to film here as it is in California.
Is there anything better than a trip getting ready? Nope. For a long journey where our podcast released a new epi, searching for a fade fiend, new fixation. Giving this a subscribe is the same sensation. Started with the day ones, they gave us fuel to support the season. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here for a reason. Notification bells, text your friends, all to let you know. Check your Bluetooth, connect, talking Wednesday night.
Welcome in, everyone. Season 2, episode 31, Scribbler, with our guest, Marti King Young. Marti.
Yeah.
I am so happy that you're here today. We're going to get it. I got to get right to it. I'm really excited. So I'm just going to say, how has the day been for you? I heard you literally like flew in from another event and then you jumped on with us.
Yes. I was a speaker on a panel for hold on, I'm trying to get the Disabilities in Film Expo at Georgia State, University. Yeah. And so I went from church to that to straight to here. So I was like, and it was long. It was so long, but got to be able to talk about how we can incorporate those with disabilities into the film industry and how it's a need and it can be met. So.
Okay, we're going to come back to that. There's some things specifically I want to get into that. So I'm glad you were talking today about that topic. And for those who don't know, I'm going to sell a lot of other people's geographical knowledge here. Through all of that, she's smiling because she also had to contend with Atlanta traffic.
A Falcons
and whatever that too. And whatever other constraints there were around parking around Georgia State. It's I've been there. They're blue and white. It's their colors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. I'm sure you saw a bunch of that today. Let's get started. Marti, what sparked your initial interest in filmmaking, and what keeps you passionate about the craft?
Well, I sort of grew up in it. My father was a promotions manager for NBC. So what he would do is they would put him in the local affiliates to get them to the top of their ratings. And once they were number one, he would move us along. So it was like I was an Army brat, really.
Yeah.
I was able to, and I grew up around television in that regard. And I'm an only child. So I would do, like, I grew up on MASH when other kids were watching like Punky Brewster and stuff like that. So and so I was already thinking like in terms of memes. I know that sounds really weird. Like when I was like 10 or 11, and I would have comebacks that were like from MASH or something, and people are like, "You're so weird. That doesn't even make any sense." So there was that. Then I just got sick and tired of. I went through a bunch of stuff in life, and I became an EMT. I was in an ambulance for about 6 or 7 years, and then I was working over at Vanderbilt, and I just got sick and tired one summer because all it was remakes or So it was like a trilogy or something. It was just stupid. It was just stuff that nobody asked for. Yeah. Nobody asked for some of these things. And I was like, oh my God, this is awful. And so I thought to myself, well, I mean, I could write better than that. I know I can write better than that because I write. So I found out that I could audit film classes at Vanderbilt. I could audit one class a semester. So I have an entire film degree from Vanderbilt University, but no piece of paper to prove it.
Yeah.
My the screenwriting teacher there was amazing. He said, "Oh my God, I think you get it." Then he said, "I think you're a director." And I said, "No, I just want to write." And he goes, "No, I'm putting you in this competition. I'm paying for you to be in this competition." And he did, and I won the competition. And then he was like, "See, you're a director." And so I directed his stuff for about a year. And then he said, "I think you're a producer." And I was like, "No, sweet baby Jesus God, I know how hard they work." I don't do that. And he goes, no, you're going to produce this next one. And then I wound up doing really well with that. And I'm actually a really good producer. Sad to say. But
so one thing normal people don't do is talk to an Army brat about all the places they've been, because your tongue will be hanging out. It's like, oh yeah, you went there and there and there. Okay, stop showing off. But I was gonna ask you about something else. But here we are. Is it really Nash Vegas? What are your takes on that?
I mean, nobody really calls it that. That's there. I lived there for 25, 26 years.
Oh.
So yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of where nobody calls it that. Like, I don't know. It's the same thing though with the hot chicken. I'll go someplace and they're like, oh, it's Nashville hot chicken. And I'm like, when did we freaking get hot chicken? And why are we the hot chicken capital? Yeah. I don't understand. Why is it not in Texas?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why are we? Why us? I don't understand. I have no clue. I don't know what it is. It's just like all I've heard or all I know for it now is that, I mean, besides the music scene, obviously, and even mostly country, which I never listened to. Oh, that was difficult.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's all wasted on you.
Yes. And I mean, and then they have, now it's apparently a bachelorette capital or something. And that started up before oh my gosh, before I left, that started, we would have people come in, we call them the woo-woo girls, where they get on these bikes, they're biking bars, where they have to pedal, and like the person will steer them all through Nashville while they're drinking. And every time they pass somebody, they're like, woo, woo, because they're all screaming, they're so drunk. And I was just like, this is what our society has become. Thank you. So I was not really so sad to move away to Atlanta.
What perfect segue. What's your take on the listeners are like, dude, you're just saying stuff that's going to make her mad. First you hit her with Nash Vegas. Now you're going to hit her with this. Is Atlanta the Hollywood of the Southeast? I don't want to just say South.
Okay. Now they call Atlanta Yollywood.
Yes.
So yeah, we definitely are. We're a major contender. It's because of our film incentive, and also because we have such huge diversity in terms of terrain. Like if you want to have a desert, there's a place where you can go film like it's a desert. We've got woods, we've got lakes, we've got things that look like the wilderness, so we've got urban and rural, and I mean all kinds of stuff. Plus the diversity of just the people alone that you can pull in from the pool. So you have all kinds of cultures here, which is great. And so that's a plus. And it's not as expensive to film here as it is in California, you know?
Yeah, no, so my attachment to that is I filmed a pilot for a game show. Okay. And part of the reason we did that, I was in Georgia. We did it in Savannah, Georgia. And that's because the producer got kicked off of a lot that he already had reserved in California by some bigger production. And some of his local friends from the Savannah Film Festival were like, hey, why don't you do it here? And he's like, no, you guys are joking. Go, that's a good idea. And one of the other models from the game show, she lives in Atlanta, and we're still Facebook friends. We text every now and then, and I send her a holiday card. And every time I look around, she's like in this production, in this movie. I think she even did like something in that Avengers catalog too, right there in Atlanta. And now she's doing it with her son. So it's pretty cool. For those who don't know, Atlanta is Yollywood. I like it. I didn't want to start with that, but since you said it, I get to say it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We'll be driving or something, and then you'll see our location signs that we have up. And they're usually yellow with a black arrow saying, with some code on it. So you think it's like for some estate sale, but it's really like Bob and to the right. And then it's, something else. And ours is blue and white for Will Trent. And it says Betty. The dog. I'm like, dude, everybody's going to see what that is.
Yeah.
It's so cute, though. It's so cute.
So I was wondering, how do you balance your career with your personal life, including 3 Shih Tzus? Oh my gosh. 3.
I have 3 Shih Tzus and a Dalmatian and a New Zealand Huntaway. Yeah. I have 5 dogs total. I have a pack.
That last one is new to me, and I'm a dog lover. I was going to impress you with my knowledge of Shih but with Newfoundland, what was that again?
A New Zealand Huntaway.
That's new to me. Can you describe? Is that a hunting dog or?
He's a sheepdog, but he doesn't look like a sheepdog. He looks like a cross between. He's got the markings of a Rottweiler, but he looks like a huge, oversized lab. Like he's humongous. He's 110 pounds. He's huge.
Whoa.
And in New Zealand, they won't, because it's so craggy where all the sheeps could go. These particular dogs have a huge. They would use the echoes from their barks to route these sheep. So he has got this loud ass bark that I was not ready for. So he's a rescue. And so we have him, and his name is Atlas because that's about how big he is.
Oh yeah. Sounds like it.
He's a good boy.
Well,
but yes, I love, anytime you want to talk about Shih Tzus though, go for it. Cause I've got 3 of those.
Okay. So they're pretty affectionate. I know. How does that work? If you got 3 of those, I'm not even going to talk about the other 2 dogs. How are they all fighting for your lap? You need to be, I've never met you in person, so I'm hoping you're 7'2" and you got a really huge lap. How are you fitting all those Shih Tzus up there? Because I know they all want to be in your lap every single moment.
Well, I have the first Shih Tzu we got, her name is Emmy. She's my little baby girl. And everything was fine. And then my husband met her, and then she turned on me and went to my husband. So whenever he's here, she'll go to him. Now, she'll come on me every once in a while, and jump on my chest and like cuddle up and everything. But the other 2, Gatsby was our second one, and he's my boy. He'll come up and sit. He's the one that really wants my lap. And then the third one, his name's Brisbane. We rescued him, and my mom lives with me, and he's actually hers. So he'll go to her.
Okay.
So it's a spread of children, and everybody's got a parent.
Okay.
Like that sort of thing. They're not neglected by any means.
A little of that shocks me. I know they're loyal companions, and so how could you lose one? That sounds like you don't share food or something.
Oh no, I share food. He would roughhouse with her, and I was trying to make her into a sweet little dog I could take with me to set. No, he made her rowdy, so she likes to be rowdy, and I'm like, okay, whatever. I
thought they were low exercise dogs.
Well, they are, but she likes to tussle. She likes to, chase her little. I mean, she's a princess. I mean, come on, she wants whatever she wants when she wants it. So, I mean, that's what it is. And I'm very good at holding the line and going, no, you didn't eat your dinner, so you're going to wait till breakfast. And Craig will be like, come here, baby, and give her treats and all sorts of stuff. So that's what it was. Why. She was bribed.
Yeah, I see that now.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's playing fair, but I don't want to come between you guys. just my personal opinion. Okay, so this last part, they're pretty high maintenance. So if one is technically yours and just your affinity, you want that dog to get trimmed, you want that coat to be taken care of, do you have to take those other 2 people's dogs? Or you guys just kind of work it out? It's like, okay, we'll send all 3 at the same time. Because I know that groomer's happy. Oh, here comes the Young family.
Well, the funny thing is that my husband decided to learn how to groom them when we got the Shih Tzu. So he's the groomer. Yeah. So he saves us hundreds of dollars every 3 or 4 weeks by doing that. So, and then whenever he does it too, I just make myself scarce. Like I've started kickboxing. I'll go to the gym, or I'll go to my bag, and, I'll just be like punching. He's like, I need help. And I'm like, sorry, busy.
No. I like his style. I had my first dog was a rescue, and I don't even know what it was, but it was a little bit of everything, and it just would just grow. And so I just started tinkering, and I'm the master of the Airedale cut. I could do that in my sleep. I probably could do it with my eyes closed just off of touch. That's how good I am. And it was just kind of going at it. And I'd walk that dog, and I'd get so many compliments. So I know he's thinking the same thing too. And people were like, hey, nice dog. I cut that dog myself. They never ask, but I used to offer it. I was like, yeah, I did the cut, but thank you.
Yes. He's a very proud Shih Tzu dad. He has a shirt that has a Shih Tzu dressed as Yoda with the lightsaber. And it says, may the force be Shih Tzu. And he wears that every time we go to like Disney or Universal, and he gets so many compliments on it. So that's literally his amusement park shirt, just for all of the accolades for the shirt.
Martin, I'm really enjoying this. There's so much more I want to get into, but I wanted to give you a hard time. I wanted to test your knowledge about that dog.
Okay,
will you play along?
Yeah, of course, sure.
I'll ask you three questions.
Gosh.
And
See, this is a test.
I know. Everyone, I just want you guys to know, I told her this was going to be all fun, and now I'm hitting her with some hard stuff.
Oh, no. Okay, go ahead. I can do this.
What does Shazoo actually, she's rubbing her head, you're throwing me off. What does Shazoo actually translate to in Chinese?
Little lion dog.
Oh, I'm so impressed there.
Yes.
Also known as the chrysanthemum dog. I would have taken that because some people say that because their distinctive facial features resemble the petals of the chrysanthemum flower. During what revolution were these almost extinct?
Oh my gosh. I don't know the name of the revolution, but I know that like they were saved by some US troops that brought some over, and it was like all of the Shih Tzus today are descended from like those 5 that were saved, but I don't know the name of the revolution.
Nope, it's the Chinese Cultural Revolution, but because you got that, because that was the other part, a small number of dogs were smuggled out of the country, preserving the breed for future generations. All right, 2, but you still have 1 more to go.
Oh gosh.
Here's number 3.
This is gonna be the tough one. I just know it.
While Shih Tzus are often associated with the Chinese royal court, their lineage actually traces back to where?
Mongolia?
Not bad. Not
China.
bad. If anyone else would give that to you.
China. Wait.
I already said Chinese royal court. Tibet. And that's tough. They touch Mongolia, Tibet, China. It touches. And Tibet, Mongolia.
Okay, to be fair, if they found an animal and it was right there on the border, how would they know?
That's great. That's a good one.
I'm going to say I'm sliding into home.
Yeah. They were originally bred as companion dogs for Tibetan lamas and were considered sacred animals or symbols of the wealthy and status.
The dogs were bred to be
the dogs.
Not the Dalai Lama. You're talking about
just the Tibetan llamas, long necks.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah. I used to live in Los Angeles, so insert Paris Hilton with her dog in her bag and some Tibetan llama that's like, I gotta have my companion dog too.
I can just see him just walking around with a little bell around his neck, and then he's got a little satchel. The dogs because they're the laziest things on earth.
Okay, now I want to go into something else. I'm going to stay personal first.
Okay.
What's the difference between scuba diving and free diving? Is the first part. And which one of the two do you do?
Scuba diving is when you go and you have the tank to have air when you're underwater. Free diving is you hold your breath and you can stay down for like 3 minutes or longer at a time. I cannot free dive longer than like 20 seconds. So I am definitely the scuba diver of the group. I love scuba diving, but I do not dive at night because I can't do it. I'm too freaked out.
How does scuba diving work? For those of us who have never done it, could you help us kind of understand it?
Sure. Usually you can find an instructor, and they usually will take you to a pool to see if you like it. So they'll suit you up and let you go down to the bottom of the pool. Because some people don't like having to breathe in and out of their mouth because it's weird.
Yeah.
The mask sort of plugs off your nose, but then you just go underwater and, you just breathe underwater and look around, and it's pretty cool. There's a lot more to it. There's science involved.
Yeah.
My husband's the scuba diver and master now, so he can like teach people and stuff. And I'm just like, I just want to have the tank. I just want to go down to the bottom with my little metal detector, because I do that. And
that's cool.
Yeah, I metal detect under. I found out an old harpoon once. I still have it.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
living in the South now where you're at, like I want to find an old Civil War cannon or I don't know, something from like the Civil War, some lost ship or something.
Yeah.
Or like some Civil War bullion. They had their own currency. Like I want to find a chest of that.
Probably in the lakes around here. I don't dive freshwater, but I dive saltwater. So yeah, I don't do the freshwater just because I don't like the way that lakes smell, and I'm just weird about it. And it smells weird.
See, all stuff. This is why I'm glad I asked. Things we didn't know, things to consider. What's the best time of year to go scuba diving?
Oh gosh, probably in the summertime. So the water's not, you don't need to wear as thick a millimeter for your dive suit. Because if it's warmer out, the water is going to be a little bit warmer. So you won't freeze when you hit a certain thermocline. You can see it. And then once you go below a certain level, it gets colder. You go to another level, it gets colder. So summertime, because then all of that's a little bit warmer. That's my opinion. I could be wrong.
Oh. Yeah, no, I get that now because I was wondering about cold water diving. I thought that would be the preferred, but I get what you're saying. Maybe start, if you want it to be cold, just go deeper. But don't start with it cold because you won't make it to the bottom. No,
it's true.
It's too cold for you. Decompression sickness. Mm-hmm. Have you had to deal with that at any time?
I have not. I almost did once because when we were doing an ascent, there was a storm coming, and so they were like, "Get up!" And so, but you have to hold. There's a safety stop, like at 30 and 10 feet, so your body can acclimate and get the nitrogen out of your blood system.
Yeah.
And I was hanging on to the thing, and it just a wave hit the boat. The boat sort of went like this up there, and the rope sort of pulled me along. And so I just like went up like really, really fast.
Oh.
And so I was like, I almost hit the top of, not of the boat, but I almost hit the top of the water, but I was still, and my husband like yanked me back down. And he was like, "You're dressed." And I'm like, yes. I know. Yeah.
These are some of the things I would be interested in.
Okay.
Wreck diving, deep diving, and cave diving. Okay. Are you interested in any of those? What would be your preferred?
I've done 4 wrecks now. I've done that. Yeah. So those are cool. You can go around them and you can go sort of through them, especially if they're broken in half. You can go in and out. I've done those. I like those. Deep diving, that's where you really get into really cold water. So that usually takes a dry suit, and I'm not dry suit certified, so I don't do that. But then cave diving, I have a very healthy respect for getting into places that I can't get out of. Or if it was a big cave, I would probably go in and look around. But if it was one of those ones where I had this much room between me and my tank, I'm not going in, mainly because if there's something else in there, I can't turn around and get out. So I would probably say the wreck diving is going to be the best one for me. That, and sometimes you get to find cool stuff around it. And they have a lot of fish, and they've got a lot of, like when the Navy sinks their ships, they turn them in, they like blow them in half or whatever, and then they turn into coral reefs. Yeah. So that's pretty cool too. But yeah.
Yeah, no, that's about what I thought. But like I said, I haven't done all 3. And now I think you've convinced me into wreck diving. So see, you were concentrating me on what I should do.
That's it. I'm
so
a good arrow.
I'm going to use your experience to make my decision.
There you go. Do it.
Okay, let's talk about your work in television.
Okay.
How does the collaborative process work when you're assisting Emmy-nominated producers on series? I feel like if you tell me someone's Emmy-nominated, I feel like everyone else is like, oh, whatever you want to do.
They should.
But then again, they kind of have you in your circle, so you can be like, "Oh, we can't do that. No, let's not do that." What's that process look like?
Okay, so the way I can speak from experience from the show that I'm working on right now, right? So when the network says, yes, greenlit, you can do this show, we have two showrunners, because when you film television, you're filming one and you're prepping for another one, and then it swaps. So it's constantly like this. So we have two showrunners. So the showrunners get together and they create their writer's room, and they say, these are the topics we want to cover, and they put it up on a big board. And then they go, okay, this is going to be episode 1, blah, 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 all the way down. Then they have to write a studio, not a draft, but it's like the pitch for what they want this to be. And then they send it to the studio, and the studio goes, yeah, but we don't want you to do that. We're thinking maybe more a little bit like this. And then they're like, all right, hold on, let's revisit it. And then there's a happy little discussion, and then they write the script. So the script comes down to us, and then we have to sit down, and we have a location photo review concept meeting, which is out of every place that we see in here, our locations managers are saying we could film it here, 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 and here, and here's all of the options that we have. So they have that on the books. Then you have a production meeting with the art and the set designers. And then they say, okay, out of the ones that we can build here, we can do this, 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 and this. And here's the budget for it, because it's all about budget. They only speak money. And then we have the animal wranglers come in, and they go, okay, yeah, we can get Betty to do this, 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 and this, and this. Yeah. Okay, great. So we put her over there. And then we have costumes come in. Costumes, there's like, oh, okay, well, we're going to have a flashback. So now we need 70s stuff as well as this. So we have another meeting, and then they're like, okay, so that's what we're going to do, have the budget. And then now they're talking to production design, because they have to sort of match in color codes and everything like that for whatever it is from the 70s and for present. We're constantly having meetings all the time. And then let's see what else. Oh, hair and makeup. Do they have scars? Do they have, bad teeth? Do they need hair extensions? Do they need this? Like Iantha, who plays Faith, who's an adorable, lovely soul. I adore her. She came in the first time, and they were like, we had to do pickups from the pilot, which means we had to reshoot some of the pilot. And, she came in, and it was all about, we have to do her braids. And so then they had to talk to the person who originally did her braids. And so they had to put her hair back the right way, because she didn't have braids when she came back. So, things like that. We have a picture cars meeting, and picture cars is what you call every single car that you see in the television show is paid for to be there. It is a picture car. So, I mean, it could be people it could be like my car could be in the background if it's just parked, but if it's running, if you see it pass by, it is a picture car that has had to be provided. So is it an ambulance? Is it the bomb squad? Is it an FBI? Is it just a sedan? Is it, is it a van? How old is the van? What's the make and model of the car? What's the year that we're in? So then we do that. And then you add that fact that we're in the 70s. Okay, so what's this going to look like? So we've got to go through all of that too. So it's a collection of meetings to get together and make something, and finally get it to be executed. And also, by the way, during all of that, you have like my producer, the executive producer, and other people saying, like going back to the showrunner saying, it's too long. We can't film it in this amount of time, because the assistant directors are also breaking down the script in terms of how many scenes can we fit within a 12-hour day, including moves to new locations, which takes time to load up all of these trailers and everybody and move them. So they're giving us time schedules. And if it's longer than 12 hours or 12 and a half hours, then it's like, we can't do that. So now the producers are going back to the showrunner saying, we have to cut a scene, or we need to change something. And it's usually okay. It takes, it's just whittling things down to get it to where everything needs to be. Yeah. But I will say, people just don't know how much time and what really goes into it. And you think about all of these meetings that I just talked to you about, this is they've got 8 days to prep, and then 7 days to film, or no, 7 days to prep, 7 days to prep and 8 days to film. Yeah. So this can only take place within 7 days. And then it's just, we're off and running. And the day before, or the couple of days before, there's a tech scout. So all of the department heads get into a huge van, and they go to all the locations they're going to film at. And that's when they figure out where the lights are going to be hung, where the cameras are going to be, where the special effects are going to go off at. Visual effects has to go in and do their LiDAR if we need it, you know? So it's all of this stuff in 7 days. It's crazy. So when I say I'm exhausted, I just want to sleep, it's because I'm literally falling over dead from keeping up with everybody.
I see that. So I was going to ask you my next question of what are the biggest challenges? You seem like you laid that out. So then I guess I'd like to know, what are the biggest rewards that you see then?
Oh my gosh.
Especially when it comes down to some of the roles. I'm just curious.
I think for me, I've gotten to work with some icons that I just adore. I got to work with Dolly Parton.
Oh,
I mean, I was just like, I can die happy now, you know. Last season we had C. Thomas Howell on the show. He played the warden, and he played Pony Boy in The Outsiders. And so I got a Stay Gold Pony Boy t-shirt and have my picture made with him. You know, stuff like that. And then I've gotten to see people that I've gone to high school with that we were in choir together. We were in drama together. We roomed together when we were in New York. And then she got a role. And so I got to see her. That was so much fun. You know, it's cool. It's that. It's also, I think it's just, gosh, I've just made the best friends through all of this too. Because everybody that I've really had the opportunity to work with, that I really vibe with, we've always just clicked and just stayed in, you know, good contact with, you know. And it's really such a small group, I don't want to say group, but it's just a small community. The film community is, I mean, we really do talk. And when you say it's not even 6 degrees away, it's like 3 degrees away. We all know the same people, and it's really cool, you know, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The production designer from Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins, I think it was, he was one of our production designers. And I told him that I bought Elijah, that's my youngest son on the autism spectrum, a recumbent bicycle. So, because he can't ride a bike, but he can sit back and pedal, but he steers with his hands, but he sits back, right? And it's basically a tricycle, a really laid back tricycle. And he told me to bring it in. So he souped it up. So the guy who made the freaking Batmobile for Christopher Nolan souped up my kid's Wonder Cycle, because he's Wonder Boy. I mean, that's it. Wonder Boy. He's not. I don't want to give away anything.
No. That's the lead. I mean, that's the one right there. Forget everything else. I mean, Christopher Nolan. I mean, wow, that was cool.
Yeah, right? I mean, I didn't work for Nolan. He did. I was like,
no one can top that. It's like, see that bike over there? Let me tell you the story. It's like, it's the coolest. I'm very interested in character development. Mm-hmm. Given your experience working on shows like Will Trent's, Sweet Magnolias, Class of '09, how do you approach developing complex and relatable characters?
So with Will Trent, that is based on a book by Karen Slaughter. So he was pretty much already formed for everybody.
Okay, yeah.
I want to say, I think Sweet Magnolias was also based on a book. So they were kind of based on those characters too. But for me, like when I write scripts, when I turn them in or when I polish, there's 2 ways that I can character develop. I can either build them from the ground up, or I can deconstruct them. So when I build from the ground up, I figure out, of course, I do their name, how many, their parents, do they have any siblings, blah, 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 all of that. But then I go into what's the childhood trauma that has formed their psyche, because everybody has something. Everybody has something to make them fear or make them self-loathe or something like that. So I figure out what that is. And then moving forward, I always say, it does. That one thing alone will determine how they will answer any situation. Yeah. And the arc is whether or not they get past that, or somehow that needs to be resolved. So that's how to construct a character. When I'm deconstructing a character, I'm actually working with a friend on a script to do this right now. I'm I have the end result of where they want the script to go, right? We have what they want for the plots, but now I'm having to deconstruct and find out, backtrack what the wound is. And then I'm having to explain at the same time that if this is the wound that we're talking about, that's not how they would respond. That psychologically they would do this, you know, that sort of thing. So to deconstruct it is a little bit trickier because you're having to go back and sort of unravel and then sort of braid and rethread things. But at the same time, you find out what you need to find out. But then you also know the end too. So that's a little bit more helpful sometimes.
Yeah.
But the whole point of the character development is that people go on the journey to be with the character and see what the character does. They're not on the journey for the plot. The plot is made for the character to prove what the character is made out of. And that's it.
Yeah.
Can you tell?
No, I get it. I never thought about construct and deconstruct. I mean, I always say this, and now my friends, when they watch this episode, they'll be like, oh, she just empowered them. Because I always say this, everyone needs to go to therapy because, and I just say, just based off your parents. I got rich friends, poor friends, middle class. I grew up middle class. I don't care who you were or who your parents are. You've got to go see a therapist based off of your parents.
Right.
And not to discount anything else that's happened in your childhood, but there are characters that can be constructed or deconstructed off of that. So
for sure,
you just helped me with that. I feel so much better.
Good. I'm glad to help.
I'd like to talk industry trends.
Okay.
And I'm kind of curious on your thoughts on the current state of television, which you kind of mentioned earlier, like you were looking at some stuff and you're like, another remake. And then like the future of storytelling, you know, where you could see it going. Curious on your thoughts there. Well,
I mean, I don't think that this is a media that's ever going to go away, for one, because everybody loves to watch stories, not only to learn things, but just to escape. And it's been such a hard past few years. That's why Ted Lasso is doing so good, because it's hopeful and it's just corny and it makes you feel good. It's a feel good show, you know? And I'm personally am tired of all of the true crime stuff. I don't want to hear about bad stuff anymore. That's just, you know, I'm done. I've met the quota. From 2019 to 2024. Yes, you did it. Congratulations. You ruled in rain. Time for somebody else to get the trophy. But, so I don't think as a medium, it's going to go away. I think it might change in the way that it looks, and the fact that, you know, we've got so much streaming right now. People still do want movies. It's obvious. So we're still going to have movies. But now I think it's so stupid because they think that this is a whole new thing. And they're like, oh, you know what we could do? We could take all of these streaming platforms and put them on one platform, and then everybody could go there. And I'm like, you mean like effing cable? Like what we had before?
Yes.
That what you're talking about? Like Comcast and crap? That's exactly what we had. This is not a new model. Like,
yes,
work better, please. Work better. So it's not going anywhere, I don't think. I mean,
no.
Ever. So there's that. And then what was your other part of the question?
No, it was that the current state and then the future. I was going to, you know what? I'm still kind of curious here. How do you see the role of diversity and inclusion evolving in the industry? I didn't want to ask that question because, you know, that could go one way, but I'm curious when I ask that, how do you see it?
Well, I can honestly say on the show that I'm on, it is like first and foremost in their minds, because when we have to do castings and when they write a script, casting gets a list of all of the characters that are going to be on there. Right. And then they have a casting concept meeting. And the casting concept meeting is, okay, so this guy, Raphael, how old is he? And we tell him the age. What do you want him? What ethnicity do you want him to be? Latino. Okay, great. So everything goes like that. So they've been very, very good about showing really the truth of Atlanta, if you want to think about it. Because I mean, I can go walk down the street and I'll see, you know, 10 African Americans and 12 Koreans And you know what I'm saying? Like it's in 3 white people, and then, you know, and it's just like, okay, cool. I mean, that's just the way it is here. So they've really worked hard to make sure that it is represented correctly. And I'm not getting paid to say that, by the way. This is So I'm really proud of that. They also have been working really hard to add in those people with disabilities too, or at least make a place for them. I was really, really proud. There was I don't want to give too much away because obviously the episode hasn't dropped yet, but there was an opportunity for someone to represent someone, and they filled that void with when it was requested. Let's just say that. I can't really talk. I could. Oh, you can do another show after it airs, and I'll tell you that was the scene.
No problem. No, that's where I was leading. I was asking that question. I didn't know how you were going to take it, because I told you we weren't going to get political here. I'm not trying to do that. But the Adventures of Wonderboy, that inspiring you to create a film that highlights a person on the autism spectrum. And that's what I was talking about. That's the way I was going with it, because you want to see that's the diversity, that's the inclusion that we're talking about. There are parents out there of autistic kids who would love to see something like that for them, for their family members. So I'm just kind of curious here. How did you approach casting and working with the actor? What was your mindset there?
Oh, okay. Oh, The Adventures of Wonderboy?
Yes.
Okay. So Elijah, the actor, is my Elijah, my son. And when he was 12 years old, he created this character called Wonderboy because of his autism. He could not understand why certain things were happening. So he lives in a very white and black world of what is good, what is wrong, what is good, right? We live in a very gray world, and he's not understanding that. So I was helping him try to navigate that, but he still wanted to have right and wrong. So he created this character where he could have his world where he could understand it. And that's where right and wrong is. So he created Wonderboy. When he was 16, I think that's how old he was. He went to school and they said that they would film it for him. And I was like, yay, mom doesn't have to do it. Go with God. I am so happy. Y'all do it. And then the school moved their substandard, oh my God, their subsidized testing.
Tell me how you really feel about the schools.
No. They pushed him to the very last week of school, and they just told him, we can't film you. And he came home bawling his eyes out. And I was like, that was autism. You can't just tell autism. No, you have to, you know what I'm saying? There's like navigation. Yeah. So I got mad and I said, well, lucky for you, mama knows how to make films. So I called in I'd been working in Nashville in the film industry for about 15 years at that point, I think. So I called in every favor known to man. And we all got together, and over a period of 4 months, every weekend we were filming The Adventures of Wonderboy, and we had stunts and we had costumes, and even the mayor's office at the beginning is the mayor's office. They let us film there. It was so sweet. I couldn't believe it. And it was halfway through it. I remember we were filming the stunt sequence, which if anybody watching wants to watch this show, you need to, by the way, it's on YouTube for free. Just Google The Adventures of Wonderboy.
We all like free.
And stay until after the credits so you can see the stinger on the end because he wanted a Marvel thing. Anyway. Yeah, but I remember sitting there and saying, there's something magical to this. Like there was something just in the air that was just absolutely magical. And I knew that this movie was bigger than me. And it took after we wrapped, and 2 years later, it took 2 years to get all of the special effects in there and everything done. And then we sent it out to film festivals, and it won all over the world. It just won all sorts of stuff. It's become my calling card because I obviously advocate for those with special needs and disabilities. So that's number one. But number two, it's like, oh, she directed that. Wow, that's pretty amazing. Holy cow, and so it's really opened up a lot of doors for me. And if I had said no, or if I'd have just let the school just, I don't know. I'm just a mom. I'm just a mom trying to make her kid happy.
Yeah.
But he had a huge red carpet when we premiered it in Nashville. Like, it was on the news. I mean, it was a big deal. It was a big flipping deal. He had a red carpet. He had a mannequin with the full Class A uniform on it, so people could go over and see it. And he was in a tux with a little mask on, and he greeted everybody. I was really impressed. I was really impressed with him, because that's hard for autism.
Yeah. So impressive, and I just like the impact that it makes on the industry for further opportunities. I
didn't even answer your question. I'm so sorry.
Well,
he chose the casting. He sat there, and I did a casting call. He sat there with me. He chose everybody. We had a composer, and he worked with a composer on what he wanted for the music. And he said he wanted The Incredibles meets James Bond, which Christopher Gentle, chef's kiss, knocked it out of the park. Yeah. But he was very involved in everything. I did not take the reins from him. I would let him, I would corral him a little bit, and sort of tell him things could be done or couldn't be done. And he was good. So I apologize. I didn't answer that. Okay, go ahead.
No. All that helps us on the approach. We asked about the approach on casting and working with the actor / director, because it kind of was his direction. Herzlichen Glückwunsch zur Veröffentlichung der deutschen Publikation.
All right.
Oh no, I thought I was good. So you were in a German publication. So I was saying congratulations on being featured in a German publication. I lived in Germany for 3 years. Yeah.
You cheated.
Yeah. But I was kind of, until my friends back in Germany are like, bruh, you've been gone for a long time, and that could have been better.
Hilarious.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I mean, come on. I live in America, where we only work on one language. But what was that like? And I'm sure I'm going to answer. They interviewed you in English.
Yes.
And that probably you were impressed, because they're, oh man, you guys, that's some really good English. But what did that feel like?
It was really cool. I mean, it was really at the, I don't even think, maybe it was, I can't even remember if I had done Wonderboy before or after that too. It was just about me helping women in film and and offering opportunities and opening doors and putting them in like department head positions and things like that, and just trying to further women, in film. And that's really what it was about. And I was really, really happy. I think they wrote it. I had written a film called The Alabaster Phoenix, and my friend Tala Hobala and that's really her name, she directed it. So it was like me tooting her horn too, because I think that was one of her first things she's ever directed. And that was what it was about too. Like, you wrote this, you could have directed this, but you let somebody else take it. And I was like, well, yeah, because I want to get people out there. She said she thought she could direct it. And I was like, well, let's see you try it. Let's do it. Let's try it, And so I produced it, and she did a really good job. Yeah, but that was really cool. I didn't expect that at all.
like David Hasselhoff, a lot of Americans don't know. He's a god over in Germany. It doesn't matter where you pop at. You could always like again, Christopher Nolan and The Bike, you can just say, they kind of dig me over in Germany. Kind of a big deal over there.
I need to do that in Scotland. If anybody from Scotland is listening, I want to move there and have a castle one day. So if anybody from Scotland, hire me. I have a really good attitude and really good energy. You will love working with me.
Do you have 3 references that'll corroborate that statement?
Yes, I do.
Okay, well then you're sold.
Yes.
It's funny you say castle, because I was going to tell you, when I lived in Germany, I lived right next to a Schloss, which is the German word for castle.
Yeah.
And its garden was shaped in a maze.
Oh, cool.
And here you are. You want to go to Scotland, so you could have a castle. So I just thought we both have similarities. It wasn't my castle, but I lived next to it. So I was like, yeah, there's a castle on the grounds. That's how I used to tell my friends.
The overflow. That's where the overflow is.
There's a castle out there. Go ahead. Go get lost.
Go get lost.
Because it really wasn't me. Yeah, you got me there. can you share? I want to get into future film projects.
Sure.
And I'm ready for some rejection here, but can you share any insights into your upcoming film projects or your vision for future storytelling, film wise? Paths you'd like to take. Just kind of curious on where you see things.
Sure.
Upcoming.
I've actually been slotted to direct a feature film this summer. It's a horror film and it's called Family Reunion. That's on the docket.
What?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm going through the script right now and working with the writer to I'll just tweak it, to make it really solid. But I wouldn't say that horror is really my genre, but I really liked, it was the story. The story pulled me in, so I liked it. And it's got a really cool twist. And I love that because I love anything that's like Shutter Island, that's like flips it right at the very end. And you're like, what the heck just happened? You watch the movie again so you can see it. Yeah. I really like that. So I'm slated to do that. I'm in talks to direct a series, a supernatural series / true crime type thing. And I don't know any more other than that, really. I don't even know the name of it. I'm supposed to talk to them next weekend. So hopefully that'll turn into a thing. That would be lovely. I've got a series that's being shopped around called Zeus is Dead, based on the book by Michael Muntz. And it's hilarious. It's a comedy. It's about the Greek gods come back to Earth after killing Zeus. Somebody kills Zeus. They don't know who did it. And they expect to be worshipped, but they have to compete with social media. It's really funny.
Oh, they ain't gonna win.
I mean, spoiler, shush. No.
God.
So
wait a minute. You haven't seen the video I was sent.
Hilarious. Oh yeah, Aphrodite. Oh yeah. Yeah. So there's that. I've got another series called Unhappenings about a time traveling disaster magnet who keeps messing up his own life. That's a drama, and that's being looked at too. I've got another series like in the vein of The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt and Ted Lasso. It's just like real good, happy-go-lucky. It's about a girl, and she's just like the eternal optimist, and she just wants to go around and make people's days better. That's all she wants to do. But again, it stems from a wound in her childhood because her dad was an embezzler, and so now she's finding all of his victims and trying to make their lives better. So it's basically to make herself know that she will not turn into her father. So but that's called Nomad. And I'm really excited about that one too. That one just got asked for. So hopefully there's that. And I've written a ton of features. And whenever somebody wants a feature, I'm like, what genre do you need? Because I might actually have it. So there's that. I really, 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 in the future, I really want to be directing and producing my own things. I want to get paid handsomely for directing and producing my own things.
I get it.
I know I've been in enough rooms now where I'm pretty sure I would be a pretty darn good showrunner. Because like I said, I've sat in a bunch of meetings, but however, I mean, I know there's still more to learn. So I would happily co-show run with somebody, if I needed to. So there's that. I would probably prefer streaming over network because there's more freedom in streaming. Network, you have to do things like standards and practices, which goes through and they say, you can't say this, you can't say this, you can't show this, you can't do this, and then also clearances. And clearances is, like that name is you can't use that name because within a 60-mile radius, there are 3 people with that name. Therefore, you cannot use it. Yeah, it's a thing. So,
Wow.
So there's a lot of that. Whereas, like with streaming or features, you just, get errors and omissions insurance and you're just like, let them handle it.
Yeah.
So, but that's what I want to do. I want to do a lot of my own stuff. My end goal is I already have an LLC, but I want to have my own production company, which is Steampunk Lily Studios. I want to have my own studios, Steampunk Lily Studios. And then I want to have my own distribution line so I can distribute. And I want to have one day, maybe I'll have my own streaming service. So I'll be able to say, I will greenlight that because I know people want it. I mean, who knows? I might wind up buying Netflix one day and changing it to Marflix. We don't know.
Yeah.
Marflix.
No, you got to change the name. It's yours now. No better way to say this is mine. Are there? I'm so curious. Now I gotta go back to Zeus is Dead.
Okay.
Do you think Aphrodite could compete with IG models? Like if she was standing right there and she's like, "Hey," and I'm like, "You're like a 7," because this IG model and the filters, like you think Aphrodite, like I would miss out because I'm like, "Honey, you a 7," but I feel like that's where we are nowadays.
I think Aphrodite would break the filters, and the only filters that would work would be on hers. I think that she would cause great pain to those that are not as pretty as her. I think that she's more diabolical than people think she is because she acts like a little blonde bimbo, but she's really not. She's quite smart and quite cunning. And so I think
I could see that. I forgot the powers. So she wouldn't just take the brush off.
No. And I wrote a scene where she's taking different pictures for Instagram and she's just like uploading them one after another. But every time she turns her head, she's like a redhead with curls, and then she's a blonde with it's all up high. And then she's constantly morphing into what she wants it to be. And of course, they get like a million views. I mean, like she's breaking the internet every single time because she's the goddess. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. I was not expecting it. Yeah.
Somebody greenlight that.
I only have 2 other places I was going to go here. What are some of the industry challenges? I know you talked about that. You said standards and practices, clearances, network versus streaming. But what are some of the biggest challenges you faced as a woman director and an advocate for inclusion with Wonderboy?
Oh gosh, I would probably say the biggest challenge is to have someone listen to the conversation, like to listen, like truly listen. And I've seen people push too hard and not understand. I've seen people go in and not be able to read the room. There's a time and a place for everything. And I'm very good at reading a room and reading people, which is why I am where I am, I think. But I think it's just that. It's just knowing when to speak up and knowing when to be quiet and knowing when to hold a line and knowing when to let something slide. Like there are some things I just will not let slide. I mean, if somebody is bullying or rude or saying something that is not appropriate, I will speak up quickly. I don't put up with that. And I will not put up with anybody talking to anybody around me like that. That's just, if that's your own psychosis, you need to take that out the door. But we all work together and we play together nicely here in my playground. So that's the way I look at that. But I really haven't, I haven't come across any people per se that's hard. It was the strike that's made things difficult right now to move anything because of the strike. You had just everything stop, so you had everything in a pipeline just get pushed down. So now they're trying to pull things that were basically plugged the pipeline and trying to get these made, or they're pitching them. So then you have these people who thought they were going to have a show, now they don't, and then everybody's focused on getting, like agents are focused right now on getting their people work. So they're not looking for new people per se, because they're so trying to get their own pool some work so they can get paid. And then you've got writers who've got, we've got really good stories, but nobody's signing writers right now because they're trying to get their own people work. So that's a hard part. And that's not just because I'm a female. I mean, that's everybody across the board.
Yeah. Lastly, we talked a little bit about
Blue Lion Dog. I
won. Remember, Tibetan Llama. No.
That sounds like the name of a group from the 90s, a garage band.
Does. It does.
Tibetan Llama.
And then the grunge version was the Spitting Llamas.
Just
yeah. My jaw's never been right since that mosh pit. I went and saw them live. Oh man. All right. do you have any advice for aspiring filmmakers? I mean, what would you give young filmmakers who are just starting out in their careers?
Gosh, I would say the best advice that I ever got, and that I love to give out, was from William M. Akers, and he said, "Learn how to do everything, and you'll always have a job." And it's true. So if you go out and you're like, I want to be a director, and you've never been a production assistant before, go be a production assistant, because you'll know what they go through. And if you've never worked in locations before, go work in locations, and then you'll see what they go through. I had never worked in locations before, but James Wan made me the locations coordinator in The Conjuring 3. So I had to learn how to be a locations coordinator. And I didn't know that they go through all that. I didn't know that they were in charge of toilets, and they were in charge of water mains and all the chairs and all the mats that everybody had to get. I didn't know all that. Yeah, it's locations. I didn't know that locations, I mean, it makes sense now, but I never thought about it, that they're the ones who have to go and open up all of the location sets, and they have to close them down after everybody's gone. You know, I didn't know that they were the ones who shut down the roads so people don't keep passing by. You know, I didn't know all of that. Yeah. Now I do. And now I can, as a director, when I go to locations and I'm like, is this feasible? And they'll be like, it'll be hard to shut down that road. And I'll be like, okay, what about, is there another option? And they're like, yeah. And I go to the other option, and I'm like, okay, this is better then. I'll make this work. So it's made me a better director, because I understand that. Any filmmakers that want to be really good at what they do, they need to really, I would say, work in at least 5 or 6 different departments, just so they can see and get a good feel for what they do. And then also, if they're filmmakers who want to direct actors, I suggest that they take a few acting classes, because actors are a different breed. Okay. Actors, and I can say this because I direct actors, but actors are very self-conscious. They're vulnerable, and they have different ways of doing things. Okay. So I can't go to somebody and go, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to film it this way and then film it this way. Now, if I'm filming, I've got, like, I don't know, let's say Brad Pitt, right? Yeah. Let's say Brad Pitt. So Brad
That's my guy.
Yeah. He's right here. And I'm like, I'm going to shoot over your shoulder, Scarlett Johansson. And then I'm going to shoot at Brad first. And Brad's like, it takes a while for me to warm up. I need a couple of takes before that. And Scarlett says, oh, I'm a one-hit wonder. Like, you can do me first. And so I'll know to swap it. So if you listen, you know, you can figure those things out. Like, how am I going to save the most time? Well, I'll just shoot all of her scenes first, and he'll have said it the same, you know, lines 20 times. And then by the time we get to him, he'll be right in character and good as gold. Yeah. Uh-oh, I lost your, oh, there you are.
Okay.
And also some actors, they need to be told, like, every single freaking little thing. Like, this is why you do this. This is their motivation. And that's because, I can tell you this right now, that's because it's not clear in the script what the wound was and what they need to draw from. So if you've got a confused actor, you can probably look at the writing. But you know, some people need you to hold their hand, and there's others out there who are like, I'm going to make this on my own. Tell me what you want. Are they mad? Are they depressed? Are they discouraged? Whatever. And I'll be like, give them 1-2 things, and then they take it off, and it's beautiful. You know, they can do whatever they want with it. But if you don't know how to talk to people, you're not going to be an effective filmmaker anyway, because you have to communicate. Like, I will talk to somebody differently in costumes than I would talk to my actors, obviously. You know, I will talk to somebody in makeup differently than I will talk to. Now, I'll talk to everybody with respect. Yes. But when you're dealing with actors, it's a little different, because sometimes they just have fragile little egos, you know?
No, I get that. I see that. Yeah. When I'm at my time limit, to be respectful of your time and energy. Sometimes everyone's not built, but I really like this time. I'm just kind of curious, when you knew you were going to come on, were there any items that you were like, oh, I can't wait to talk about this, I really want to talk about that? Was there anything we missed that you would have liked to have offered, to have gone over, that, maybe, I don't know, that there was a story of the last location you were at, or something you just saw that you just can't wait to write something for, but you don't have the time, or just kind of curious.
Gosh, no, not really. Because usually I have like 1,000 journals, and everything that I start to write, I have its own journal for it.
Yeah.
So I've even have like an overheard dialogue journal, because I'm a total snoop when I go out. And I listen to people and I steal what they say and I put it into this journal.
Yeah.
Gosh, anything to talk about? No, I guess not. I mean, other than I'm really excited to be directing that feature. I'm really excited about that. I'm really
that's pretty exciting.
Yeah. I had a meeting. No, this is how you do business, right? I had a meeting with the producer. She came out from California to see me in Atlanta, took me out to dinner. And she said, I'm really excited. We want you to be the director and blah, blah, blah. And I said, you're scheduling it for September. Can we change the date? Because I don't want to lose me working on Will Trent for the next season. Because, this is a 30-day gig, and Will Trent is like months, and that's money.
Yeah.
And so he was like, you're the director. We'll put it whenever you're not working on Will Trent. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like that was amazing. I don't think a guy would have done that, to tell you the truth. I've never had a guy be that open, but she was just like, yes. And so I think that was just glorious. So Beth Goodman, I love you to pieces. I
tell you, I learned so much today. I think we all did.
Did you?
I certainly did. Things I've never considered. We all, it's just so easy to just pull something up, look at it, and you don't think of all the stuff it takes behind the scenes. It's just, so I think we learned a little bit about how the sausage is made today.
I hope so. I mean, we have we have murder boards, so, and they've got pictures up there. Those are whole art sessions that have happened where they've had to take the actors and they've had to get costumes and they had to get into makeup and then they had to take the pictures of the dead bodies and then put them back up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot. Yeah. People don't think about it. And everything on the walls, our art department made, because you can't clear other people's art. It has to be all, So it really is. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. Marti King, this was great. Marti King Young, I'm impressed. I had so much fun. This was great. We're gonna have to do this again. I have so many things I would be interested in the future. All I'll do is I'll send some invites and some ideas, and if it can work, we would love to have you back. But most importantly for today, thanks for talking with Donato.
Oh, thank you for having me. And anytime you need me, hit me up.